everybody in the kitchen, whoever I've met, has been some kind of a nutter. So I got into my dad's kitchen. I think I was about 15, stepping for the first time into the kitchen and seeing these about 75 raw chickens lying on a stainless steel dish. I remember as a kid, people, when I walked into school, people say, "Arey, Colonel Kebabz ka beta hai."
But what made you pick Australia of all places?
Australia, because I think my dad used to watch a lot of TLC.
Right? How hard was it to get back into the flow? Things with Colonel Kebabz.
One day I was talking and my dad goes like, "What do you want to do?" And I was like, "Hey, do you want to do another restaurant from Colonel Kebabz? Let's do a dine-in space." That kick that you want out of it, running those pans, running the fire, and you're still burning your hands,
burning your fingers.
Dad also always knew. He knew one thing, and he still says this. He's like, "When you came back, I knew you need to be behind the fire." I still believe in it that if I'm cooking a dish, it has to be rebellious enough to be on a plate.
Welcome to BurntFingers, a podcast where we talk to some of the craziest people behind some of your favorite brands. I'm your host Amit, and I've burnt my fingers. And I promise you, the people I talk to here have burnt their fingers as well. Today, we're going to talk to someone who's been there, done that, but so has his dad and so has his grandfather. The man behind Colonel Kebabz, Ish. Let's go.
Cheers, man.
Thank you, brother.
Good. Thank you so much for having me on this podcast, man. It's definitely the first time for me. I'm excited about it. Yeah. Never been on a podcast before, but again, thank you so much for having me here. And just to correct you, my grandfather exactly was an army officer. Did it for a couple of years, very, very passionate cook with our brand. And obviously that's how we incept. That's how it came about to be.
The Colonel himself.
The Colonel himself. And, it just started off as a hobby, and now my dad took it forward. I still don't consider myself the man behind the show. It's still my dad. It always will be. I'm just a supporting role to him. But it's always good to be a part of the business and be able to still do better than it was earlier, and still again can carry it forward for the next coming years.
That's lovely. I think that's all you can really hope for with the third generation, right? And I've asked you this a billion different times, and it's inspiring that you still somehow manage to be very actively involved in operations, not just front of house or guest relations, but in the kitchen itself, right? Like, how important is that to you to ensure?
So, I mean, for so many restaurants that open today, it's many restaurants have business owners who are not from operations, right?
Yeah.
I've been into operations for the longest. I've been behind the line for a very long time as well, and that's what I really love about it. That even though I'm able to still take it forward, right, but I can still go back to operations whenever I want, and I can still be a big part of it, because and the reason is purely because now when you've been behind the line, it's also that little adrenaline rush that you get. Dude. It's that kick that you want out of it, running those pans, running the fire, and still burning your hands,
burning your fingers,
once in a while, and not just once in a while, as much as you can do it. But it's also very important to me, because there's a level of experience that people are expecting, and that's what I'm still trying to give to people. And
was that something you grew up into, right? Like, obviously, being part of the business from a young age, that you must have been seeing restaurants like from up close and personal, right? What age did you start?
So I got into my dad's kitchen. I think I was about 15 or so, and I wasn't very active, but I was very much intrigued by what happens behind the scenes, right? Cutting raw chickens, marinations, all that stuff. So that kind of really did excite me, and that's the reason I got into that kitchen. I remember stepping for the first time into the kitchen and seeing these about 75 raw chickens lying on a stainless steel dish, lying on a stainless steel table, and then all the chefs go process all of them and get the breast out of it, the thigh, the leg, and just deboning it as well, and then cutting into smaller pieces that are required for your tikkas or your kebabs and everything. And for the seek kebab, then you have to mince it. So I think that part really excited me. I was like, there's everything has a process to it, and that's one of the biggest reasons why I actually got into it as well.
Yeah.
And I also as a self-expression thing, because at the age of I started cooking at home when I was about 13, 14. I just got into it one day, and the rest I just don't look back at. I don't even remember about it now.
Yeah.
But I remember the time when I had entered the base kitchen and I used to go there, see all these guys. There's food going out for parties and catering.
This was back in Def Call?
This was back in Def Call, back when we had the Vasant Kunj kitchen, when my dad was there as well. and caterings. My dad used to take me to all these polo club caterings and everything that he used to do, and we've seen the large buffet setups, weddings, anniversaries, birthdays, whatnot, and also the parties that used to be held in our own house. Because obviously, my dad's birthday, my mom's birthday, our birthdays, all the food coming in from a catering set up, entire buffet in our house. So it was really, really cool to see all that. And obviously, I still remember as kids, we after school, we used to ask mom whenever we could go to Delhi and pick up my grandmother, my grandfather, my nana and my nani, and then we go up to Defense Colony. Dad used to be working on the first floor, sitting up there. Now the sitting is not there, but sitting and having a meal with him there. So that is what really enticed me about all these things. That there's so much involvement into everything, and it's like a daily routine. It's not like, okay, one day I wake up and I go to office and I see what is happening and then I come back. But it's a daily routine for him and for my dad. For me to be able to see my dad do it over and over again, I think that is one of the biggest reasons why I also got into it.
And I mean, every day in F&B is such a new day, a new challenge, something thrown at you, and you've somehow got to battle it, right? Whether it's a legacy brand or a new brand which crops up, everyone's challenges are so nuanced. But tell me, what was it like growing up? What was school like for you?
School was very different. Sriram boy. But school was very different because in school also we used to have Colonel Kebabz used to do stalls and caterings and events, and food used to be going in. People used to be saying, "Arey, we want to have a mutton seek roll, get rolls and this and that." So people used to love it, and I think that we also. I remember as a kid, people when I walked into school, people say, "Arey, Colonel Kebabz Alu ka beta hai." So that was a kick at that point. But now obviously, but times have changed. I am in a different space, I don't take it to my head anymore. At that time, I used to be like with chest out and everything. It's a different feeling. Now I think life humbles you a bit more as you grow older, and you're just like, you still got to work for it.
You still got to work for it. You still got to put in the hours.
Yeah, when you're young, you probably don't realize it that your dad's been doing it for so long, and now when you're doing it, it's like, okay, now I understand the life a lot more.
Yeah. And once you finished up with school and everything, and what made you decide that, okay, now I've learned so much. There's already such a wealth of knowledge here with just my folks. Right? What made you take that call of wanting to leave and go on to pursue an education in culinary arts?
I think it was a refinement of the process. It was to do better and actually learn more. It was never about just being like, you can. I was never the kind of a guy who would listen to his parents being like 18, 19 saal ka, 18, 19, 20, galle pe aake, or bed ja. I'm not that kind of a guy. I really need exposure, and it's the curiosity of it, the rebelliousness that I had was like, I'm gonna go whoop my own ass, and I'm gonna go and work my brains out and work every single day to understand and do better and gain as much as I can. Because obviously, it's something as a personal goal as well. When you work on it, you're like, personally, I want to achieve this. Professionally, also, I want to achieve this. So I think I was able to align both goals. And that's the reason I took that call that, okay, I'm going to go ahead, do the culinary education. My mom warned me, she's like, man, it's hectic. It's tiresome. Are you sure about it? I just very casually, I told her, I said, karna hai, yahi karna. Iske aage kuch socha nahi hai.
But what made you pick Australia of all places? That too. And for those of you who don't know, Ish went to Le Cordon Bleu in Melbourne, was it?
Melbourne. I was at LCB Melbourne. And before that, I went to IHM Aurangabad, which was also there. And so I think, man, both of them, courses different, but a lot of the techniques, a lot of the menus that we were studying at the time, pretty much the same because, and very French, your French basics had to be like spot on, Indian basics to be spot on. So I think IHM Aurangabad gave me that clarity. And obviously when I was working with, I was a trainee at the Taj, so that gave me a lot of clarity as well. And I did my basics in Indian. And then I told my dad, I said, I need to do more for myself. And that's what he said, what do you decide? I said, I think I'm going to go out. And my dad always wanted to send me out. I think at the age of 18, I was ready to go to, probably I was applying to La Roche, Blue Mountains, whatnot.
He had enough of you.
Sorry?
He had enough of you.
I think I had enough of myself. That's why I wanted to get out of the house as well. But it was more like, I wanted to get out and see more of the world, see more of what cuisines actually have to offer, what the chefs have to offer, what restaurants have to offer. Because when you're obviously when you're born and brought up in this particular segment, you're always there's this particular direction. Okay, Indian, right? Indian cuisine is what your family's best at, your kitchens are best at. You've got all these guys working. Although obviously, when we do ODCs, we're picking up hiring people from outside. Processes are Asian food is happening. So we're picking up vendors and everything. So that plethora is still there. You've got a large horizon there, right? But how do you dive deeper and how do you actually become more skillful? Was the reason behind it. That Australia, because I think my dad used to watch a lot of TLC, a lot of all these traveling shows.
Too much of Bondi Beach, huh?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the reason he saw it and he said, "Why don't you go to Australia?" And I was very, very keen on Australia. I was never okay. I'm going to go to Paris. I'm going to go to Europe. I'm going to go to the US. I'm going to work my ass. I'm going to go to all these countries. I don't know. Australia, that mindset was already there.
Wanted to go.
I just wanted to go.
I think that's something you and me had in common as well, because I don't know why, right? My focus was always just go to Australia. So even when I went to Singapore, the next natural progression for me was Australia, because I have so much of family there, and they were telling me about the food scene and how insane it was. And then stupid me came back, but
So did I.
I mean, you live and you learn, right? But it's been unique. But what was the most important thing you learned, which helps you today from Australia? Like, was it the skills you picked up, or is it just processes?
It's skill. Nothing other than in Australia. One thing I realized in a kitchen, nobody cared who you are. I told people I have restaurants back home. Obviously, I told them, they asked me about it. The kitchen, all my chefs knew that I have a family. They also used to ask me, "What are you doing here?"
Like, what are you doing?
And
here?
very clearly, they said, "What are you doing here?" I was like, "I'm here to work. I just wanted to refine my skill and get better at it and do the best that I can at it." Obviously, there are certain things we still know and we're always learning. I still at the age of almost 30, I'm still learning, and learning will never stop. This industry is as such that every second, every minute, there's something new that's coming out. Right? Even as a skill, there's a new technique of doing something. Like I don't know, but Marco Pierre White's dish, the trotters, right?
Trotters,
The pig trotters. There are so many people who put it on their menu, right? And they've all done it a different way. There are still people. I still have an idea behind it. How would I want to do it? And that's technique. That is where the real game is. Technique and skill.
But do you think something like that would work here? Or are you talking about implementing those practices here with Indian cuisine?
Something like that would work here as well. And that would happen only because today the palate in India is evolving. There is still a substantial amount of the population who still has that, hitch, or that, that they don't want to take the first step towards exploring. But a large population like your age, my age, and people who are fortunate enough to be able to explore and travel, their palates are evolving. So they would want something like that. And evolution is the name of the game. It's with restaurants, it's with your own life. It's the name of the game, and that's how you got to do it.
And I think also just travel in general gives you so much of exposure, right? And the more you travel, the more ridiculous foods you come across, and it just shows you how insanely culturally vast a country like India is. But you go to a country like Germany, again highlighting on your pig trotters, I had this dish over there which was pork knuckles, massive chunks, right? And it was in a beer house, and then you've got a band playing, you've got these massive jugs of beer, and it's a whole culture built around it, and massive portions. But somehow, just by the way it was cooked, it was so easy to just go down.
It's typical bar food. It's typical bar food. You want to have a nice chunky meal. You want to down a couple of drinks. I'm very much for bar food. Like, I like small plates now, but I'm very much for bar food. Like bar foods, like in Australia, especially, they used to. There's a very the parma that they do, the chicken parma with the ham, the cheese, and the chips on the side. It's insane. People love it. I mean, I've seen so many people who used to, even with me and my friends, whenever we went out, couple of beers, there's parmas coming on the table. And all Aussies, Indians as well. It's crazy how bar food has so much.
Tapas, small plates, everything.
Small plate. It's got a lot of weightage to it. Why? Because there's an exploration of flavor there, right? There's a lot of, there's confusing flavors as well at the same time, right? I now like to keep my flavors very simple, very distinct. But again, in India also, we've got complex flavors. Our flavors are not simple. You come to a North Indian restaurant, you've got garam masala, haldi, dhania powder, jeera powder. So many flavors just, going one after the other behind it. And that's where the complexity is, but also the simplicity of it, like a simple keema kaleji or a keema masala that you have at a Chandni Chowk or a Mohammad Ali Road, or even in our space here, right? It's pretty much the same, but it's just different ways of doing it. Everybody in India has a different way of cooking.
And the crazy part about like just food in general in India, you every 100, 200 kilometers, you get a different nuance to the dish, a different take on the dish. And it's incredible when you size up India as a whole, right? Like now, most foreign countries, they have a few staple foods, right? But I've never seen anything as culturally diverse as India. It's
That's very true. Like your house makes a bindi different than mine does, or a rajma as well, right? The way is different. It's a simple rajma or a dal as well. Right? But your house does it different. My house does it different. It's also because we're so engrossed in our own households, our mothers, our grandmothers, our fathers, everybody just getting into the kitchen, enjoying food. Food in India is not just a meal on a plate. It's not a salad or a meal prep or like 7-8 boxes. It's an entire festivity. It's an enjoyment. You're sitting with your peers, you're sitting with your friends, your family, and people are having a ball of a time. That is what that's what food in India is meant to be.
That's actually why I love stuffed meals, And Chef Radhika, she does this really cool thing, right? So obviously the team is from all over the country, right? And the cool thing is that at Trouble, every chef gets a chance to cook, right? And we have a lot of competitions and all that keep happening. And the coolest part is when these guys make like basic dishes. Now you take a rajma dish, right? And you'd expect it to be cooked a certain way. But these guys come in and blow your socks off, right? And they take it so personally, right? Because it's like, listen, this is my home, right? And this is what I've brought from home. This is what my mother has made. And it really, it's the most inspiring. And I think the kitchen is the only place where sometimes it's a lot of, especially what I've seen is people who've been bullied a lot growing up and things like that, they find solace in kitchens, right? Because you're going to have this one chef who's like, okay, chalo, I'll take you under my wing. I'll take care of you. And then you just learn. You do stupid, simple tasks, but eventually when you look at it from hindsight, you get so much better at it. And then there's such a culmination of culture there. It's addictive.
The kitchen is for the rebellious. That's how I look at it. I've not seen one person who's, very simple in life and this and that in a kitchen. Like with my experience, I've never seen somebody who's just come in, acha, I want to learn how to cook and this. I've seen everybody in a kitchen, whoever I've met, has been some kind of a nutter. Absolutely. Something in their life has happened, or they're going through something. Like obviously, I have also, like my personal, I used to be very rebellious.
You're talking to a nutter.
But the same thing, like I whack things, like jumping off a plane 5 times, or skydiving, or like deep sea diving. It takes a lot of grit to do all these things. Why not just, first of all, why? Because you're looking at new experiences. People who are not looking at new experiences, that rebellious streak, you can see it in somebody, right? And that's where the kitchen comes in. You have to have that little bit of rebellion. Even till now, I still believe in it, that if I'm cooking a dish, it has to be rebellious enough to be on a plate.
When I was in Singapore, I was cooking alongside this guy, and he was just so like OCD, right, about so many things. Like you move his napkin a little bit, you move his spoon a little bit, and he just starts flipping. Okay, and in Singapore, there's this common slang like chi bai. Okay, now
chi bai.
Yeah. So now those of you who are from Singapore, you can tell us what chi bai means in the comments, right? Maybe don't say it in front of your mother, but it's insane. Right? So he used to flip, and this guy. Once I was back in India. My chef tells me, man was in jail for 12 years and no one bothered telling me, but he was just brilliant at what he did. And you can't hash it. And as long as you keep your personal shit at home and you're a professional in the kitchen, you used to fling things, throw things, hand me hot plates, but that just makes you so much better, so much quicker.
It does. So somehow, obviously, that rebellious streak is that there's this particular level of aggression that you work with as well. There's this, like correctly said, there's this OCD, like till date. When I'm working in the kitchen, I have biggest thing that I've been taught is clean as you go. Like if I have my pans and I'm plating, my left hand has a napkin or a tea towel, and I'm cleaning the table as soon as I'm done flinging the pans and the plates are on the pass, right? That is like, it's like the epitome of the kitchen.
Do you share your knives?
No, I hate it. Freaking hate it.
Yeah.
It's something I can't do it, man. No, it's just not. There are people in India. In India, I've realized there's no concept of asking.
Yeah.
Like, can I use this? Can I, like when I was in Australia as well, I was at this restaurant called Maha, and I remember I used to have a sous chef called Martin. Still there, 40-year-old dude, like 6-foot guy, huge, curly hair, damn good chef, And I'm still so grateful for all the stuff that he taught me, right? He literally used to hold our hands in the sense like he used to be Like on your head, get it done. That's how it has to be done, right? You used to tell us to go very one direction, like put freaking blinders on your eyes and then do work right? So I think one thing I picked up from it, and we used to a paring knife. If I didn't have it, I would ask him, "Can I use your paring knife?" He's like, "You know how to use one?" I was like, "Yes." So obviously those small, obviously they're very protective. Why? Because it's the kitchen, like rightly you said, like OCD and all these things. The kitchen is a place where like the guy you said rightly, 12 years in jail, came out. It's a place where you hold on to.
Yeah.
It's something to hold you accountable for, something that you do for your own self and it makes you better, right? And that's what I think where knives also come in. I'm so same, likewise, I'm picky about my knives. I don't let anybody touch my knives. And my chef needs to use it. I'm like, it's that I have to, I'm flinching before I give him my knife because I'm like, I don't know if he's going to keep it properly or not.
Yeah.
Why? Because I've invested on it.
Yeah.
I have taken care of it. It's like you're taking care of your own baby.
Yeah, knives are so personal, and I've worked with this chef, okay, and we've opened like around 4 restaurants together, and he's like a brother to me, and we've literally had to live together, work together for hours. But if I ask him for his knife, he's gonna be like,
yeah, he's gonna second guess it.
He'll be like,
He's gonna second,
can you wipe it after? I'm like, yeah, bro, I'm gonna wipe your knife.
That is one thing I actually don't like about. It's a pet peeve. I don't like about sometimes when I lend my knife, or not just my main chef knife, but like my small pairing as well. If one of my chef doesn't clean it or like doesn't give it back wiped or like properly washed and everything, it pisses me off. It takes me off to the core. Like obviously I can't go because obviously they're old as well. They've been working well. But it's like, dude, just do it, man. Like, just clean it and give it. Like, what's the problem? You're using it. Just clean it. Nobody's gonna clean it for you, right? If I'm using a bowl, or if I'm using a pan, or if I'm using something that's personal to you, I'll make sure I take care of it. I'll give it to you better than you gave it to me. That's the way I function in the kitchen.
Have you ever had a mentor in the industry who basically showed you the ropes, who took care of you and maybe taught you a thing or two about yourself? Was it maybe in Melbourne or back home in India?
So I used to work at this restaurant called Lasagna Lab as well, Australia, a small lasagna spot. I went into like learning how to run a business as well, and these guys really, Alessio and Mattia, and I'm not sure this. I don't know what's going on there now, but Alessio I'm still in touch with. But Alessio he was like a mentor to me, and this guy, he empowered me to trust my own decisions. It's like you and I were having this conversation earlier. In India, we don't have this thing where, our families or our people around us, they help us, or even the chefs that we work with, not earlier, maybe, especially in hotels, they teach you how to, trust your decision, right? That is, you have to ask for everything. Oh, ask how to do this. But he really taught me the power of trusting my own decisions. That is what has actually really helped me become very, very confident in my work now, right? And I was always confident with my work that I'm going to ace it, right? But trusting myself a bit more when in ordering, finances, every single thing.
To take the risk.
To take the risk, right? To trust myself with the risk. I think that he really just instilled it. I've worked with him for about a year and a half or so. But I used to go to his house, drinking at his house, having a meal. We went mushroom foraging together and everything as well. But ace of a guy, very, very knowledgeable. Top of the line. So that's what I like to call him. And a full boot, and he used to walk into work with a t-shirt and shorts and sneakers on and everything.
That's very Aussie.
Very Aussie. He used to work with a tea towel on his shoulder and an apron and a hat and his head on. And obviously in India we trained clean shaven, professional. He taught me the biggest. He's like, in India I get it. It matters, right? Because we follow very, very professional structure here as well. But he taught me one thing. He's like, your clothes don't count. Your work should speak for you. Do a damn good job 100 times over and again. People will forget what you're wearing. They'll completely forget. You can be in a chef coat, shorts, sneakers, and an apron on. You can be in the kitchen and nobody would care if your food is damn good. Nobody would. But obviously, the fine line setup is there, so we're still very used to wearing black pants and a chef coat and aprons and very tidy, clean shaven. So I think Alessio, I still treat him as a elder brother. Whenever I get the time, I still call him up.
These bonds are formed over so much of trauma and such hard services where you get so brutally slammed.
Slammed is. I remember we used to be doing cocktails, service, talking to people, lasagnas popping out of the kitchen, running, and a 35 cover venue, which is running around for dinner service on the weekend, and mayhem, mayhem. Large tables coming in, small tables coming in. Luckily, I got some wine knowledge also from him. So, it's crazy. Restaurants are generally the craziest place, but you learn a lot about yourself. You learn a lot about people and human psychology. That is one of the biggest learnings you take from a restaurant.
So now you're back from Australia, right? Like, how hard was it to leave all of that and come back here?
Not at all.
Did you get the call?
Came back from my cousin's wedding, and I came back and I just made a call. I said, I'm back now.
Yeah?
That's it. Yeah.
How did you know that was it?
I don't know. Just felt like it. Just made a decision. Told my parents one fine day, I'm coming back. Obviously,
overjoyed.
Mom and dad being like, no, not overjoyed. Mom and dad being like, what is wrong with you? Why do you want to leave your life in Australia? This and that. Questions bombarding. I said, I just want to come back. I don't have a reason behind it. I just want to come back. That's it. And that was it. And not because I knew that I have a bank at the back, or I can bank on my parents or something like that. Not at all because of that. But I just thought it was time. I just thought one fine day something triggered, and I just made
And you
made
miss
a call.
home as well, right? Like when you're staying there.
For 6 years, I genuinely didn't think too much about home, being very honest. I did not think much about it. I was always working with my friends here and there. That was pretty much it.
Yeah. And now that you're back, right, how hard was it to get back into the flow, things with Colonel Kebabz? And it's not like you just came and took over everything, right? You came back, and even the planning of your new restaurant. How hard was it to do?
The first year I was back was obviously a little bit of back and forth between me and obviously parents, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? I said, give me some time. I need to figure out. So I started testing out the market, started going, seeing places, restaurants, whatnot, what is happening. Started reading up a bit more. And then one fine day I was talking to my dad goes like, what do you want to do? And I was like, hey, do you want to do another restaurant? Let's do a dine-in space. And, let's see what more fun things we can do with it. Like doing a completely new small Indian plates menu as well at the IRU outlet, which is great because I get to be behind the fire, behind the line. I love it. My dad also always knew. He knew one thing, and he still says this. He's like, when you came back, I knew you need to be behind the fire.
Yeah.
He just says that to me.
But you've got such a history, such a legacy, right? And a lot of times you see, especially the third generation, the fourth generation, people, they're like, let me forge my own path. Let me do something completely opposite, completely different from what people think I should do, right? But here, this place, like I just want to talk a little bit about this space, right? The sort of decor and the artwork here, it's such a reflection of not just you, but your family's history. And somehow you've still managed to make it a little bit your own, right? So what was that like?
So it was more about giving an homage to my family. I mean, my family's been in it for a very long time now, right? And I think they deserve it. Not just think, I know that they do. Right? It's something like an homage to my grandfather, who as kids, we've never met him. He died before my parents got married. We've never met him, but we've only heard stories about how good of a cook he was, and photographs and all the kind of food that he was. Hospitality was at his core. As an army officer, hospitality is one thing that he believed, and it was the reason for his entirety of his existence. Right? And he was a man full of heart. So I think this place is what we wanted to build, like how Defense Colony is, which is a place that is pure heart. My dad is still there, right, talking to people. Some people get pissed off. Some people are very, very happy about it. And he's still there, plays some fantastic music. I am here. It still gives the same nice atmosphere. You want to come down to a space that is casual, no BS. You can come down in your pajamas and your shorts, walk in and still have kebabs, seekh kebab, rumali, tawa meat, whatever you guys want, right?
Yeah.
And that is what we wanted to create, a place which still feels like home. Like your neighborhood Indian joint that from Defense Colony that has moved to Gurgaon, but you've never left from there.
You've never left. It's somehow through the years, the consistency, the taste, everything is just the same. And I think that's what people value the most, right? And if your grandfather walked in today while we're having this interview, saw the place, ate your food, you think he'd be proud of you?
I think he'd give me a slap on my face.
Yeah.
In a good way. In a good way.
Jesus.
No, in a good way. Give a slap at me and give me a hug, obviously. But he'll. I don't mean it in the negative sense at all. I just mean it in the best way possible, because as somebody who's never seen his grandfather, it's difficult, obviously, to represent him. Right, to represent his life. And I think he'd be. I think so. I think my dad, my grandfather would be
someone you don't really know, but through stories, right?
Just through stories, just only through stories. And I think he'd be very proud. I think he'd be very proud. And I probably think he'd buy me a Mercedes now.
Oh, wow. Boy, do you deserve it.
I would not. I would still the 30-year-old would be like, yeah, if my grandfather, I would probably want a Mercedes for me by now.
I mean, if he bought you a Mercedes,
maybe a little bit entitled here, but yeah, why not?
Listen, I think if he buys you a Mercedes, you deserve it, and he's probably seen what you've done. If you don't deserve it, you can always pass it on this side.
I'm happily or else worth for it even more to buy it myself.
Oh shit, dude! I'd barely pay the petrol bills, but anyway, it's the economy. It's the economy. Just blame the economy.
Yeah.
What do you think is the biggest change since the Colonel's era to now? How drastically different do you think the food scene in India, in Delhi especially, is or isn't?
The food scene in India is booming. Like people, obviously, chefs are coming about, young guns are coming about, and they're doing some fantastic work. My hats off to them, right?
But now that you've experienced so much of restaurants, you've been behind the line, you've broken your back, you've burnt your fingers. How lonely do you think the restaurant space is?
No, man. Like it's just time consuming. It is time consuming. It takes the entirety of your day, right? It takes the entirety of your life. Just at it, and you have to be like I said earlier. You have to be really crazily passionate about it to do it. Like you have to give it your entire heart and your soul. It's like falling in love with something over and over every day. That's just it.
And it's this very constant realization that you don't have to do what you're doing.
Yeah.
Regardless, you'll get the Mercedes. Right? What makes you keep wanting to do it?
Like I said, the Mercedes is not the end goal. The passion and the fact that when I'm 80, I'm still able to do it, and I'm still able to be like, hey man, I want to go back to that adrenaline rush. That's what gets me back.
We're all adrenaline junkies at the end of the day.
Yeah, we really are. It keeps us alive. It's that sense of we feel very alive when we do it, right? And be it behind the fire, there's something that keeps you going. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, that's it, and it's super special. And how, like, your legacy now? Where do you see Colonel Kebabz maybe 5-6 years from now?
Haven't really thought about it yet. Haven't given it a thought. But yeah, definitely Colonel Kebabz is expanding. Want to do some more restaurants, different kind of restaurants as well with it. Not just stick to this. Obviously, we can multiply this. But see where it goes 5-6 years down. Don't have a clear plan. Oh, I want to open like 2,000 stores or like 1,000 stores in India. Don't have that plan yet.
Yeah.
But just want to be able to curate some great meals for people, open some new restaurants, different cuisines, different spaces for people to still feel inclusive. Because Colonel Kebabz has always made people feel very inclusive, a part of you, and that's the way I look at other restaurants also coming about under the same banner.
100%. And when Ish is not in the kitchen or not at Colonel Kebabz, what's Ish up to?
Sleeping.
I
think maybe. No, just my downtime is I don't really have a lot of downtime for myself either. I like to, if I get some time, read, talk to my girlfriend, take her out for a nice meal, drive around Delhi, where if I can, maybe take 6 holidays a year.
Oh, dude, that sounds like heaven. 6 holidays a year.
6 holidays a year, spend some time with the family.
Yeah.
Like sit down with my mom and dad. I really enjoy it. I love sitting down with my dad and quarreling over work as well. It's my favorite thing.
It's your favorite hobby, right? Of
Yeah,
course, I'm sure
it is.
Now that you've been on the podcast and we've discussed the good, the bad, the ugly, life in general, do you have anything you'd like to say to the younger Ish? A tale of caution, maybe so he doesn't burn his fingers like you did. Something you'd like to pass on?
Don't just love the industry, love yourself as well at the same time while you're doing it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's special. It's tearjerker, man.
Yeah, man. Like it's you just have to. I'm going about. I think I've obviously a large part of my soul I just gave it away at the same time. 18 hours, 19 hours. I still love it. I still love to do 18, 19 hours. But at the same time, I think I loved myself a little less at that time.
Yeah.
Because I was just so hell-bent about trying to prove a point.
Yeah. And now, maybe taking a little bit of time off, pushing, maybe reducing working hours a little bit, taking time, or that's not a plan?
Absolutely not. Not now, not for the next 10 years at least.
We'll have to see what the girlfriend says about it, but yes. I wish you all the best. And thank you so much, and can't wait to see what you do.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Anytime.
Pleasure.
Anytime.
Cheers.